Right behind me is about half an acre of pasture that my wife and I put our meat chickens on throughout the summer. We just harvested the last batch, so I'm gonna clean up the whole pasture and we're gonna run the sheep on it. After that, we have some dirt work up at the house, so let's get after it. For anybody new here, my wife and I have been developing our homestead from raw land here in the mountains of North Idaho for about 3 years now. And like I said, we just harvested our final batch of meat chickens for the year. So I got to clean up this pasture. Let me flip this around. I'll show you what we're working with. All right, guys. Well, I guess first off, you might hear some chainsaws. They're doing some logging work up on the mountain over there. But this is the pasture that we are working with here this spring. Liz and I built this structure. We call it the sloop coop because the roof kind of has just a little feng shui to it. But we built this structure as kind of a shelter for the sheep when we're not running chickens in here. And then when the chickens are in here, we close, the main door, and we got their little chicken run door right out the side. What I'm going to be working on today is taking some of this chicken wire fencing down that you see all around the edges. We tried to put that up to keep the meat chickens in, and it did not work at all. We had meat chickens all over the place down here. So next spring, we're gonna have to put up some legitimate fencing. But since all this chicken wire is up against the electric fence, it's grounding out all of the wires pretty much everywhere around it. So I need to take the chicken wire down. I need to get a lot of the, brush off of the hot wires. And I need to get it hooked back up and get it working before we can even put the sheep in here. I think the sheep are gonna like it. We have just a little bit left from the summer of green stuff. I think they're gonna come through and clean all this up. It's gonna be good for them, good for us, right before the snow flies. Next morning, the chicken wire is finished and I have the charger hooked up. Now, since the sheep are happy, all contained, they're eating on that rest of, is that forage? I guess the rest of the forage right before this winter here. And since that's all done, I have a little bit of dirt work to do up at the house right here. So let's get after it. All right, guys, I wanted to take a quick second and let you know about some new shoes that I've been wearing. They are the Armadillo model from a brand called Nordivate, and Nordivate is the sponsor of today's video. The Armadillo has really been holding up, guys, I gotta tell you, to the active lifestyle that Liz and I have around our homestead here. We have been working in the garden, and a lot of the time when you're in the garden, you're kind of working down on your hands and knees, so the toe of the shoe is always dragging on the ground, and the Armadillo is holding up really, really good. We've been wearing them down at the bottom when we're feeding the animals and dealing with all them. They're water resistant, so we have no worries about, stepping in the puddles down there or when it's muddy or something. They're not gonna leak, stuff like that. It's great for just everyday use around our homestead. To get yourself a pair of these Armadillos at a great price, click the link down in the description box below. And while you're there, check out all the other products that Nordivate has to offer there on their site. Use our code LORDENS to get 30% off of your order on Nordivate's website, as well as free shipping. I want to thank Nordivate for sponsoring the portion of today's video. Now let's get back to work. Really hard to tell, but there is a high spot right here in the dirt. And you got to imagine, we're going to be filling this up some with gravel. We're going to put a little bit of gravel down on here. A huge lesson that I'm, continuing to learn is pay attention to your drainage when you're building a house, especially if you're building your house into a mountain. So I'm trying to pay attention to the drainage. I know I have a high spot right here. We're gonna scrape this back, push it over this edge back behind me. And I think we may have a high spot kind of in the middle of that snow patch there that I'd like to scrape down. Over here by the concrete, we need to bring that down a little bit because again, we're gonna be filling it back up with gravel. Got everything kind of scratched out and raked around. I'll show you guys what we're working with here. We pulled a lot of this dirt back and just kind of ran a taper into the natural grade of what we have back here. That is because I wanted to get this edge of the concrete kind of exposed. Like I said, so we're building up to things, not, you know, just putting it right on top of the dirt of the grade that's around here. Trying to get it somewhat decent. And like I said earlier, I'm really trying to pay attention to where the water is going to go this winter. So at least right by the house, you know, it's not super muddy all winter long. So we'll put gravel right here where I'm standing, as well as back there by that concrete pad. We already have one load of gravel kind of in between these two areas that I put down, oh, maybe like 4 or 5 days ago. You know, driving the excavator over it, working with dirt around it. I'm trying to keep it pretty clean. And just like that, we ran 2 loads of gravel. I let the camera charge while we did that, and that looks awesome. Kind of just spread it out with the excavator, was able to side swipe a lot of it and rake it all around, and it looks good. That ended up being, let's see, 10 yards of gravel total, maybe 11. That last load, he loaded that truck pretty full. Still needs a little bit of work. We're able to keep this original gravel, you know, somewhat clean. Unfortunately, we did get just a little bit of dirt on there, but that's all right. It is going to be so much better than last winter, guys. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, we're probably going to lose a lot of this stuff over the next coming years. This was just kind of a patch job for this winter because, guys, last spring, it was nasty here. This mud, I've talked about it in previous videos. There is no rocks in the dirt that we have around here on our mountain. It's all old glacial silt. So it's really fine. It's like flour, like talcum powder, just super fine, no rocks. Because of that, it makes the nastiest, stickiest mud super just goopy, and it's gross. So I'm stoked on the gravel, stoked on the new truck. We've got a lot of use out of it so far. It's working really good. And I'm stoked on you guys watching this video. I really do appreciate it, guys. I hope you're all doing well. We're coming up to the holiday season here. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.